Good evening and welcome to round number 9 of Friday Night Dirt Night here on Racespot TV, streaming live on iRacingLive. Randy Chenowth and Justin Prince bringing you all the action for this one as we hit the track at Daytona Short as we officially begin the last third of the official season in 2018, season number 2. Justin, how are you?
I'm doing good, and it looks like everyone else looks to be doing good here. It's a very tight circuit. Should be some entertaining action here tonight to start off. Hashtag Dirt Night. So,
handful of interesting names here tonight. We don't have a lot of the usual sort of suspects we tend to see. So because of that, there's a handful of interesting names that are going to be taking part in this one this evening. Qualifying is currently underway. I'll bring up the lap times for that on the left-hand side of your screen. We have 9 cars competing this evening. Once again, due to the splits, we get one split of 9, another split of 8. Right now, Stilian Chipolevsky, he's top of the board with a 33.441, but Harrison Finch not far back after a 33.443. So that number 6 car of Finch, maybe not a driver we're overly familiar with, Justin, looks very, very quick.
It looks very quick for sure, that number 6. In fact, he's still turning some lap times. As you mentioned, very, very tight. Already, his fan club is already set to go to see how he can do tonight. And he could be somebody that potentially might be able to have a decent run here to try and challenge Chipolevsky up in the front tonight.
Another driver to look out for is that number 8 machine of David Heilemann. You guys will know him from Team VLR, does dirt oval stuff. So keep an eye on him. Curious if he's as washed up on dirt road as he is on the dirt ovals, because he did not have a very good round on Monday night. As you see that now NASCAR, as the schemes finally update, go way up and over the jump here. And well, the Daytona Short layout, Justin, relatively simplistic, not really a lot to it. I think a lot of people prefer the long layout, but this is a layout that was used in real life as well. Because of that, it can generate some interesting racing as Josh Fox by 0.3 of a second goes to the top of the board.
Yeah, it definitely can add a lot of interesting racing because a majority of this track, for one, is fully on pavement here. You have the dirt section, and then where once you get off the dirt section, you have a chance to really have a lot more grip than you see for a lot of the different circuits here for the iRacing surface for the Rallycross cars. So it makes a very interesting situation, especially with the very small joker as well on this racetrack. So we might see some drivers be able to thrive on that at this point tonight, as Connor Parise just jumped his way to second.
Yeah, Connor Parise is in second spot, 0.4 of a second off Josh Fox. However, as David Heilemann is going to come through for his first qualifying time, that's going to be a 35.249, so not very good for him. Once actually he took the joker for some reason. So I think David Heilemann, we're used to seeing it in sprint cars and late models. I don't think he really knows how this works, that he goes pretty wide. And Heilemann, I don't know, he might need to turn the mirror off and get as good as his teammate Austin, because he is not doing very well right now in that Volkswagen. Stilian's the only other car on track. He's just sort of out there running around. Nicholas Claudel, though, currently slowest, full nearly 3 seconds off that pole time. So big dispersion in terms of talent levels tonight due to the decreased interest for Daytona Short.
Yeah, that might give some drivers opportunities to show themselves. David Heilemann, he's adding himself a ton of Sperry points, to say the very least, with the way he's driving.
What are Sperry points?
I'm pretty sure there's basically another term for exposure points with Jake Sperry. But in all seriousness, it's just give some drivers a chance to see how they match themselves out, get some decent experience, see how they feel themselves out against the top drivers for these kind of splits.
The Sim Racing Observer, well, the opinions are made up and the points don't matter, as we're going to bring you down starting grid for heat race number 1. Josh Fox with quick time. Going to start on pole with his Fusion teammate, Stilian Chipolevsky, and that's Fusion, not Fusion. I know that my speech impediment can make that difficult to understand. Yuri Zadzan is in that 3rd spot with Sergio Corredera in the 4th spot and Nicholas Claudel in 5th. Now, due to the number of drivers in the turnout, we'll only have we will not have a last chance qualifier, so all 5 of these drivers will make it to the main as we get ready for the lights to go on and this all Volkswagen heat to go green. Lights are on. We got to wait now for them to switch to green, And we are going. Let's see. Will the Fusion drivers somewhat choreograph this and work together? Yes, they will. Josh Fox cycles into the second spot. You see one driver, the number 4 of Georgi Zadzon, way around the outside. He's going to be able to not make that work. And they work themselves in towards the chicane. Up now, down towards the jump section of the racetrack for the first time.
Yeah, very clean start for everyone, really, and able to hit the jump the way they need to, since you can end up timing that run and end up jumping off. But look at Fox. He's going to thrive in this pavement section if he can dive it into the corner the way he wants to here, because he's off to a really good start as they approach the Joker.
So to the Joker for the first time, and one of the Fusion cars is going to be Chipolevsky is going to take it. So he'll cycle into the race lead. Josh Fox will cycle into second. Georgi Zadzon in third. Fourth spot is going to go to Sergio Corradero with Nicholas Claudel rounding out that top 5 as they go up and over the jump once again for the second time here. Interesting though that Josh Fox doesn't take the Joker, but he wants to try to use it to pass his teammate. But I am a little surprised that no one else outside of Stillian ended up using the Joker there.
I'm surprised too to use that up early on, but it looks like Fox is going to do exactly that and times it out perfectly because it gets him the lead.
So Josh Fox circulates back into the race lead as they work themselves through the first set of corners. Once again, Georgi Zadzon pretty much by himself, same with Sergio Corradera and Nicholas Claudel. So everyone's pretty much spread out. Claudel really struggling here just a little bit. Kind of shows you the pace difference between some of the more average users and some of the top-end aliens and exactly how much faster these guys are, even on what is a relatively short lap, Justin.
Yeah, the lap times, as mentioned with qualifying, about 33 seconds if you don't take the Joker, about 31 seconds if you're on the pace. So a lot of these drivers, especially if you're not used to them, they're just having to find ways to get corners. Like Claudel, for example, he's having to brake early on than a lot of these drivers and not risking drifts. Meanwhile, up at the front, you'll see drivers really try to push the car, maybe slide the back tires a little bit on exits to be able to get the speed they want on exit, as Fox is continuing to pull away from Chipolevsky.
Yep, coming up towards the final lap right now for heat race number 1 through the long right-hand hairpin, which is both turn 1 and the final corner at the same time. It gets the white flag at the starter's bollard. Through the chicane, you see you got to go all the way out to the right, try to get it straight as you hit that jump. Quick flick to the left to get it in here and get it slowed down. A little bit of a slide as the asphalt then snatches those tires and lets you get a lot of traction. You don't get that on the long layout. It stays dirt. Through this little Mickey Mouse sector, that's pretty much single file. No way you can make moves there. And down now through this long straightaway in towards the final braking zone. Once again, hard on the brakes, 180 degrees around to the right. And for Josh Fox, that should be pretty simple, and he's going to win heat race number 1. Chipolevsky in second. Georgi Zadzon jokered late, and he'll cycle into third. Sergio Corradera in fourth. And, well, here comes Nicholas Claudel through the Joker on the final lap. He will round out your top 5. So the top 5 start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, fairly clean start to this one for that first heat, but already getting all set to go for the second heat, where Parise and Finch will be definitely the focuses, Randy.
Definitely going to be the situation. Harrison Finch was very quick. Connor Parisi very quick as well. Bastian Remise, and of course, what can David Heilemann do when he's not on a dirt oval and not in a sprint car? 2 Ford Fiestas in this one as the lights get ready to go green. And here we go. Let's see what the American manufacturers can do. They're 3 abreast in towards turn 1. Connor Parisi not getting a great start. They're going to be 3 wide for the first time through here. And, well, it's going to be Connor Parisi in that American flag scheme Division racing car cycling into the race lead with, I believe that's Bastian Remise taking up the second spot. So that's him up a spot here in that Ford Fiesta.
Yeah, and Finch played a bit with fire with the crossover, almost bumping into the back of Remise, in fact, right now. So Finch wants his second spot back already. He might take the Joker here potentially to try and get it back, because he looks like he might be being held up a slight touch through the apex of the core is exactly what he's going to do.
So drivers working their way through here. Joker's, of course, coming through in the first lap. Connor Parisi's going to hold on to the race lead. Harrison Finch cycles out into second, with in third place Bastian Remise, and David Heilemann rounds out the tail of the field as he finds the tires. That NOS Energy VLR machine, well, that's not how you're supposed to take the jumps. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, you don't want to end up having where you take the jump and end up potentially going sideways or off the racetrack. So, yeah, it's definitely not the way. I don't even think he even had the jump whatsoever there. So, just has to make sure he regroups and tries to keep his car clean and go from there as Parise continues to try and pull away.
Yeah, Parisi's doing a very good job of that right now. Easily the strongest driver in this heat race. As see Harrison Finch up and over the tabletop, he's going to go. He still owes us. No, I take that back. He jokered on the first lap, as well as Connor Parisi. As behind, Bastian Me still owes us a joker lap, and I think he's more than close enough right now to that driver in front of Harrison Finch that when he eventually does joker, I think he'll hop into that second spot.
Yeah, I think so too. He's going to probably wait to the last lap because he's starting to close up the gap that Finch had with the joker. It's about a 2-second difference between when you take the joker and when you don't. So I think 100% he's in a position to take that spot if he continues to have nice clean laps, because he's maybe at the very most a second back at this point.
So race leaders down now into the tight sector here. They get ready to start the final lap. See drivers working the way through. This is the high-speed S's section. Flat out, easy peasy in these things. Now down in towards the final corner. Your race leaders are going to go. And Bastian Hermes is still not going to take the joker just yet. So when he eventually decides to do that, it's going to be interesting. Is now through the final, through the first sector for Connor Parisi for the final time. It's actually been a good lap for Harrison Finch that last time through. Gaps down to under a second, but there's really not many passing opportunities around this place. And he's not close enough either as he gets a little bit of wheel spin, I think, through that little dirt transition. And because of that, it's going to drop him a little bit of time that I think will give Connor Parisi more than enough room. They head down now this straightaway for the final time. Connor Parisi should be able to hold on to this, but where does Bastian Hermes cycle through? He might be relatively close to your race leader of Connor Parisi. He's not going to get there, but he takes second spot. That's going to be really tight at the line. And no, it's going to be Harrison Finch by 0.03 of a second who holds on to that second spot.
That was very close, but he just didn't get the speed he needed to. He was down to as low as 59 miles per hour by the time he was able to get on the gas. And because of the better line with the out on the exit 4, of course, Finch ends up just getting the spot as we get all set to go for your main.
I figured it out, by the way. Beans and John Fuller, I'm enjoying the YouTube accounts that are named after my teammates. You're the only names that typically show up here on Friday nights that are missing, so congratulations to that. The starting grid for your feature, though, coming up on your screens right now is Josh Fox is going to be on pole with Connor Parisi second. Stilly and Chipolevsky in that third spot with Finch, Zadzon, Ramiz, Cordera, Heileman, and Claudel. As the rest begin to build, we're getting ready to go green here in the feature event right here, right now. Down now in towards the first corner for the first time. Fusion Racing 1 and 2 likely going to try their best to control this, and they're doing a good job of it. Actually, Fusion Racing 1, 2, 3 as they head down now through that first corner and then towards this tight S section as Parisi and Chipolevsky very tight. They're going to get a single file now, but look at the advantage Josh Fox has.
Yeah, got out of the Hornet's nest very quickly. Chipolevsky almost bumped into cars twice over in that run, so he's going to maybe have to be a little tiny bit patient here. We got trouble, meanwhile, in the snake section.
A little bit of trouble behind. I don't actually see who it is. I think it's just a bit of a pileup. Oh, no, Georgi Zadzon. Going to bring up a replay of that, see exactly what the problem was for Georgi. You see here, this is going back to when they're coming through that tight sector that leads to the jump. Let's see what actually happens to that blue and white Volkswagen. See, they're 3 wide for a moment as they head down through this right-hander. He's very close to the back of Bastian Hermes. Is now, oh, a little bit of a tap there onto which car was that? I'm actually unsure. It was Sergio Corredera. He got into the back of and ended up sending him around.
Yeah, you mentioned it before, very tight section, not where you want to try and pass, but I think Cordera was trying to get to the preferred line, didn't know that there was a car outside, ends up getting a bunch of damage, both of them, and now Cordera able to gain time, but the worst, Zadzon, obviously, at this point. Already, Fox and Chipolevsky both using their jokers right after that.
Yeah, and they're both in a pretty commanding position right now as Connor Parisi is under a very, very tight situation right now already from Harrison Finch. Harrison really keeping him honest. Harrison is also yet the joker while everyone else has. We got one car now on pit road. Georgi Zadzon seems to have had another issue.
Yeah, he just blew up as they were crossing towards the start and finish line area, so he's done for this race. He's going to end up finishing 9th for him from that damage, from that hard hit at this point as everyone spaces out outer-wise after that.
So, unfortunate there for Georgi as Need to shift back to the on-track action, bring up the ticker for you guys as Harrison Finch continues to run in the 3rd spot, Connor Parisi 4th, and then you have Bastian Remise and David Heilemann 5th and 6th. It was Sergio Corredera 7th and Nick Claudel in 8th. Now the question has to be for that 3 car of Connor Parisi, when do you actually opt to take that Joker lap to get back around that lime green and blue Fiesta in front of you?
I'm thinking depends on where you're on the racetrack. Of course, we're approaching towards the halfway next time by this track to start and finish line. So I wonder if Paris, if he gets stuck in behind Finch, if he takes the Joker immediately, if he still stays about the same distance here and there, maybe he waits until the last minute. And I think that might be what they do. He might wait until the second to last lap potentially, or the last lap to take that Joker to try and leapfrog past Finch.
Bastian Remise behind as well, still owe this a Joker lap, and well, the amount of time that he is compared to Bastian Remise is about 3 seconds, and we talk about the Joker delta here, Justin, it's about 2 to 2.5. So if Bastian Remise can reel him in just a little bit more, he won't jump Connor, well, he might jump Connor Parisi if he Jokers first, but he is just about within the delta of being able to jump Harrison Finch as well, as Parisi still once again goes around that Joker.
Yeah, I think they're, again, trying to be patient, hold on to their Joker, keep it in their back pocket in case of traffic. Remise, the way he's turning the lap times, it's still running at 33.9s. It's compared to Paris and Finch, it's about even. So he has to, if he takes the Joker, have to hope, A, the drivers in front of him don't end up taking the Joker, and B, he needs to keep up this exact same pace. So wonder if it's going through his mind to take the Joker maybe a lap earlier and go from there as he passes by it once again.
A very, very awkward landing for that number 8 car of David Heilemann, who runs in the 6th spot. You saw that on your screen. Just the tail end of it is we're going to have 3 laps remaining in this feature event. Josh Fox in command of this, 1.8 seconds still out in front with Stilian Chipolewski, his teammate, out there in that 3rd spot. We're right on board a little bit with Stilian. See how he's really working this car here, but not really close enough to reel in Josh Fox out in front, as Fox is going to have 2 to go.
Yeah, Fox has just put it in cruise control, been running in the 33 4s, I should say. Still in the 33 5s this time by, so this is about 2 to 3 tenths per lap faster than Chipolewski, Finch, and Remise right now. So he's just been setting the pace he needs to at this point. No mistakes really all race long. Already used up his Joker. Just has to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes here, as he's about a lap and a half away from the checkered flag.
So watching Josh Fox, he heads now down in towards the final sequence of corners. A little bit of contact behind, actually. Not sure who that was. I see Harrison Finch slow. Did he just pop a motor?
That would be huge if he did. Yeah, I think he did, because he's running very slow here. So that's absolutely huge after the great run. Yes, something, I think he, yeah, 100% blew a motor. It looks like it might have been near out of nowhere. Let's check out the replay.
Looking at the replay now, he had damage on the front of that machine, so maybe a cooling issue. Yeah, he just had a motor let go. Not really sure what the problem is there for Harrison Finch, but he's going to be out of this with about a lap left to go, as Josh Fox is going to come off the final corner and win here at Daytona Short in week number 9. Stilian Chipolewski, his teammate, will come in 2nd, and Connor Parisi will finish 3rd. That means Fusion Racing 1, 2, 3 on the podium. They're going to be very happy with that one.
They're definitely going to be happy. They all had some good runs tonight, both in the heats and for this race in general. Looks everyone's just going to group each other up and celebrate, it looks like, together. Well, Remise tries to jump in as well, I guess, but just bad luck, I think, for Harrison Finch, because you do have potential to have damage when you land from that jump. Again, I think that might have been what cued it, as I believe everyone goes off to celebrate your top 4.
Yeah, Bastian Remise cycling through. I'm surprised those Fusion Racing cars have not hopped on him the way a white blood cell hops on a cancer cell. You see Josh Fox drifts it out into the grass. Stilian and Parisi do a slightly better job, but Stilian ends up in the wall, so that's not very good. But with that, we're going to go down to your post-race results after the feature here at Daytona. Josh Fox, the driver who ends up winning here in this one, was Stilian Chipolewski in that 2nd spot. He's the one you see in the background doing some donuts. Connor Parisi in 3rd. All Volkswagen and all Fusion in your top 3. Bastian Remise in 4th with Sergio Corradera in 5th, David Heilemann 6th, Nick Claudel in 7th, Harrison Finch in 8th, and Georgi Zadzon rounds out your 9-car field. Like we said, there is a second split, unfortunately, took away some of the cars. Otherwise, we would have been in for a full show, which I don't know if we've actually had a full show all season the way we did last year.
Yeah, but either way, it was a pretty competitive race, really, especially with the top 4 trying to settle themselves out. But I think if one driver might have decided to go before the last lap for the Joker, might have been the difference positions, especially Remise compared to Paris, as I believe we have someone ready to jump into our broadcast booth, Randy.
We do, and he's going to talk to you, Stilian Chipolewski.
Yes, thank you very much. Chipolewski joins us in the broadcast booth. How do you feel about you and your teammates finishing 1, 2, 3 in this one?
Yeah, that was the great part of the race. I love it really much. That was the goal. And yeah, definitely Josh was absolutely amazing on the qualifying lap and then on the pace. So yeah, Vision Racing 1, 2, 3. We are waiting for this for a long time, and actually right now is here.
Right now he's here, and he's waiting in line to jump into here. But of course, with the way you guys ran today, what was the kind of preparation steps you guys all took to make sure you were able to have this kind of a run and make sure you set the pace, all three, especially you, to be able to keep yourself into second place by about 3.5 seconds?
Yeah, I'm not sure why Connor didn't take the Joker the third lap, because I believe if he did that way, he were going to get in front of me, because if you take the Joker first lap, you actually lose a little bit of time, and the guy who take it immediately after you, if you are on similar pace, yeah, the second car will be always in front. But yeah, he has different tactic, and it works for his podium as well. So yeah, but I try really my best, because my car, my setups probably don't work very well on the cold weather. The first laps, I was all over the places, and it was really difficult to land the car, and the car all the way try to roll over. But I believe after third or fourth lap, I was able to catch the pace of Josh. So yeah.
Yeah, you still had a good pace to come away with second spot. Just out of curiosity, in your opinion, what was the difference between the setup for what you had for, say, a sunny daytime sort of setup compared to overcast for this with the 67 degrees in terms of how it handled, in your opinion, to what you prefer to be set up to?
Yeah, the problem on the overcast weather is the asphalt is really grippy, and at the same time, when you lose grip, it starts sliding like crazy on acceleration, especially. So you have to be really careful. You have to balance the car a lot, and try to not spin tires, because that's how we lose most of the time, spinning our tires. And I believe probably it's about tire pressure, but I don't mess too much with the tire pressure, because then if I put a little bit more tire pressure, make my car even harder. And actually I feel my car landing after the jump like watermelon on this track. I don't know what is wrong with my setup. I have to try different things and see if I can do it better.
Really quickly, is there anyone you want to thank for the second place before you bring Josh in?
Yeah, I thank you guys for the great show you put every night, every Friday night, and iRacing for the GRC, actually a Rallycross service now, and my team and the guys involved. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the time. Congratulations on the second place finish.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Someone very happy for sure, Randy, but I'm pretty sure someone also happy is Josh Fox, Randy. And I'm going to presume that.
And I'm back. Just we're gonna ignore that little Randy mess up there. Josh, I'm sure you have to be happy with your performance here tonight. Super quick all day, dominated your heat race, dominated the feature, dominated qualifying. Pretty much dominant day for you in addition to Vision Racing.
Yeah, thanks. I really wanted to back up a strong run I had in the first go around with the Daytona short track. And it was a little bit of a interesting thing to come in and see the overcast and the very cold temperature, because it didn't go so well for me a couple weeks ago at Iowa. But happy to run a good qualifying lap, maintain it in the heat race, and maintain it in the feature as well.
And for you guys at Vision 1, 2, 3 for the team, how does that feel? I know that it was sort of a diminished, I'll say, competition sort of night. We really didn't have the sort of grid we're used to seeing. None of the race clutch cars were here, for example, and of course we'll occasionally see a Coanda car from here or there sometimes, but we haven't seen any of them in a little bit either. So how did it finally get a 1, 2, 3 a podium sweep for you guys, one of these broadcasted races?
Oh, it's really great. I'm really happy for Stellian and Connor to have a strong run. And it is a little bit disappointing that we didn't get to see as many of the familiar faces running tonight. And I always appreciate when we can have a good, strong group to really go at it. I think it's really good a training tool for the World Championship. But in these sort of reduced type fields, there's also a lot that can go wrong. And really happy once again, for our whole team. We were able to all have a clean race and show that we're one of the more dominant teams here.
And now one of the tracks that really suffered last season was Phoenix, but when we went there earlier this season, it's put on. I think that Phoenix race has been the best race all season long. You think we're going to see what we saw last time out, or you think it'll be a bit more like what we saw last season?
Are we going to Phoenix next week?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Okay. I think everyone's been doing real well, and there's no reason why we shouldn't put on another great race at Phoenix. I think it promotes racing, with the wide entrance into the first turn. There's a lot of opportunity to pass, and it's really easy to mess things up, with the jump. So everyone's got to be really tighty, and I think it demands a lot from the drivers. So I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't have another great race there next week.
So, Josh, congratulations to you. Congratulations on the good run, and my congratulations to the team for the podium sweep as well. Before we let you go, any shout-outs or anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I'd like to thank Stellian and Connor. They're great teammates. JB and Andreas. They couldn't be with us tonight, unfortunately, but I'm sure they would have been right up there with us. And once again, want to thank Racespot for an awesome broadcast. You guys do a great job, and can't wait to see how you guys do for the World Championship when that starts up.
Well, congratulations once again, Josh. Hope to see you run strong once that World Championship starts up now in June.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
One more interview on the board, and that's going to be Mr. Connor Parisi, and he stood by with Justin Prince.
Thank you very much, Randy. Connor coming away with a third-place finish in this one. Started second, finished third. How are you feeling about the top three podium finish?
Feeling really good. I mean, it's hard to beat Josh and Stellian, so, anytime I'm running up with them, it's a good night.
It looked like a pretty good night, but one of the main things we noticed here, and Stellian mentioned this as well, is the when you took the Joker lap, waiting till the last lap really to decide to do that. What was the strategy for you in terms of when you took the Joker to try and get yourself advancing up to the field?
My strategy going in was to wait till the end to take it, if possible, to kind of get some space in between us teammates, so we weren't really, battling too hard, taking each other out. I didn't want that threat. 2020 retrospect, I probably could have got around Stellian if I had taken it earlier, but that's how it is.
That's how it is, I guess you can say for sure. You still, of course, came away with the third. Of course, today, very cold racetrack once again. Overcast, 67 degrees track temp, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Stellian mentioned it is very grippy as the racetrack. How did you feel about it with the car for today as well with your setup?
Josh actually helped me out, like, as qualifying was starting with some tire pressure tips. So, I mean, I wasn't uncomfortable with it, but it's definitely such a thing as too grippy. You know, it kind of wants to, like, buck you off. You know, you're transitioning to the tarmac, especially from the dirt. So, I mean, we all personally prefer, I think, like a hotter track. You know, separates the skill set from the drivers a little bit more. Times were kind of close up top tonight, and I think with a slipperier track, you get a more diverse spread through the times.
I kind of have to agree on that front. Of course, the next race next week, which was, I guess, news to Josh in our past interview, is at Phoenix. How are you feeling about Phoenix next week?
Phoenix is hands down the worst luck I have out of all the tracks. It's wicked fun to drive, so I'm looking forward to it, but I've had nothing but bad luck there, so I'm hoping I can turn that around.
We'll see as well and see what you can do next week, but is there anyone you want to thank before we let you get going?
Absolutely. My 3 fans watching live right now, thanks guys. Gotta thank Terry Renner and Nerdworks Paints. Our whole team's got the best looking cars on the grid. I'm sure you guys can attest that from the broadcast.
Nah.
Huge thanks to Terry. Terry's an alien. And you guys put on
Is he an alien or a
shows.
nerd?
He's a little bit of both. I mean, he's a nerdy alien.
He's a nerdy alien.
Yeah. And everyone at Fusion, you know, Joe for, you know, organizing us, and Stellian and Josh are just so fast. They help us with the setups and overall racecraft, and then, you know, all the other guys that are helping out behind the scenes. We got a good group. I'm really looking forward to this World Championship.
Thank you very much for the time, Connor. Congratulations on the top 3 finish, and get to celebrate with your teammates, I'm guessing you're going to be doing next.
Yes, sir. A couple cold brews for me.
Couple cold brews and a couple happy teammates for sure. Of course, all of them finishing off in the top 3 in what was a pretty good race overall here at Daytona tonight, Randy.
Yeah, it definitely was a good race for sure. Fusion Racing taking the top 3 spots. Pretty dominant performance from them. But that is going to do it for us for the first leg of Friday Night Dirt Night. Be sure to catch the Red Bull GRC Series next week when they come back to Phoenix. That should be an exciting race. But in about 7 minutes time, we will be back when the USAC 360 Sprint Car Series hits the track at Limaland. We saw a fantastic race at Limaland last time that series went there, culminating with David Heilemann making a last lap pass for the win. So do not go away. We will be right back in about 10 minutes.
Kyle Kimball. I am the Manager of Operations in the Motorsports Department for Mazda North American Operations. We are at Bondurant Racing School here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we are putting on the Mazda Road to 24 shootout. We started with 14 qualifiers that submitted business plans to us, and from those 14, we narrowed it down to 4. Those qualifiers were Celine Roland, Tyler Casera, John Allen, and Preston Pardis.
For me, the first session was just, the memorization piece of the track. I probably was halfway through the session before I felt like there were 2 or 3 places I could push. Now I knew what was next. I already see some differences in preference of, how people approach certain turns, or certainly the braking into the first chicane is a little bumpy. So there's a lot to learn, but that's part of the fun.
So as a judge, what we're looking for from these drivers is the opportunity that they take the information that we give them. They can then make themselves a better driver on the racetrack, and then we get to see that instantaneously the next session when we go out there. So we can see whether they can listen to us and comprehend what we're saying, put it into practice, and then see the result.
I'm Jonathan Bomarito. I race the Mazda factory RT24P prototype for Mazda in the IMSA series. We've had 4 really impressive guys here today, all going for a $100,000 scholarship to run in the MX5 Cup series next year.
I'm Preston Pardis. I'm from New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Actually, I've had iRacing since 2010, so I'm a 5-star gold member on the forums. Nothing like hopping on, with a few buddies and do a few sessions, but it's great when you're learning a track. There's nothing like physically driving a racetrack. You can look at video, data, but nothing does justice to where you want to really place your car, and it really transfers really well. I think you need to do it nowadays.
Hi, I'm Tyler Casera. I'm an at-large nominee here at the Shootout, Spec Miata racer, and won a couple championships in SCCA and NASA. iRacing is, I think, a huge tool, great tool for me to prepare for race weekends and just hone my craft and stay sharp when I'm not actually at the track.
Hey, my name is Salim Rayan, 9th year Mazda racer. I currently race Spec Miata. Honestly, the first thing I thought of when I got in this car was how similar it is to iRacing.
Took us one final session, but we do have a winner of the $100,000 value scholarship into the 2018 Mazda MX-5 Cup, and that winner is Salim Rayan. Congratulations.
It's incredible knowing that now I'm a Mazda factory driver. I work for Mazda, Classic Mazda in Orlando, Florida, and now I'm a Mazda factory driver. It's kind of my life now, even more than it was before. Just a professional race car driver. That's what everyone's dream is, and my dream has become a reality.
One driver of note, John Allen, came here today mainly with an iRacing background, and it was pretty impressive actually, I must say, how he started off, that he drove 3 sessions, every session solid improvement, lap times were coming down. I was very impressed actually with his approach, and a lot of that comes through the iRacing, and you really see how beneficial that is for these drivers trying to come up through the ladder.
I've just started to watch my son get involved in iRacing, and it wasn't available when I was around, so I'm really captive now about how it can increase the ability for a driver to come to a racetrack and know the racetrack and really have a good feel of what to expect, and we're seeing that with all the iRacing competitors that we've had come through the program so far. And this year with John Allen, and I've already said this to him, remarkably impressed with how well he has done.
So through our partnership with iRacing, John Allen beat 17,000 other online racers to make it here today, which in and of itself is an incredible accomplishment. He showed today that he absolutely deserved to be with the 3 other drivers on track. He showed consistency and learning every single time he was on the track. He was in 3 sessions, and each session he got faster, sometimes by a half a second. The progression that he showed throughout the day was absolutely tremendous.
I'm pleased with my performance. I'm pleased with the feedback I got, the opportunity to get the level of coaching that we did. My goal right now is to make it back here next year, through the real world competition, and just make it back as an at-large bid. I know a little more about the process. It leaves me better prepared to come back and attack. No doubt, the list is long of people to thank. My wife and our dog, and they were just fun road trips. We even snuck a family reunion in between 2 of the events this year, and to that end, my family, supporting me in this. They don't need to understand it, they just know I love it, and that's enough for them to support me and push me further. Clearly, the practice I received over the last few years using iRacing is very applicable. To come out here and do a serviceable job, even a highly competitive job, is almost entirely due to that. So I intend to still be a regular on there and continue honing my skills and find some more tracks to translate that to next year.
actually, you know, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have, you know, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing, three wide action on a turn two. Craig Kinzer, Casey Kane, and Garrett Pittman going at it.
I think the differences between, you know, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the car. With iRacing, you can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, like, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, you know, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And, you know, early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
That camera transition was really well timed to that flipping car as we bring you the 600 horsepower behemoth in the USAC 360 Sprint Car Series here on Racespot TV, streaming live on iRacingLive for the final segment of Friday Night Dirt Night, May 11th edition. Hope you guys are all excited. A big weekend of racing coming up, not only for us here on Racespot TV, but in the real world as well. Of course, you have the IndyCar Grand Prix of Indianapolis this week. We have, of course, I believe Formula One returns as well. And here on iRacing, the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series kicks off tomorrow, I believe, at Monza. I will do a little quick search just to make sure I'm right about that. And I was indeed, and it actually doesn't tell me. So right there, I'll have to get confirmation on that in just a moment. But regardless, qualifying for the USAC 360 Sprint Cars currently on track right now. Randy Chenowth and Kris Hohn bringing you all the action. And there's a couple of interesting names up and down this list of drivers in this one. Have the likes of Rusty Kruger, who we saw run decently out at the World of Outlaws World Championship season opener at Eldora. Also confirmed that the WC GPS is happening at Monza as Rusty Kruger goes to the top of the board.
Rusty Kruger with a 12.312. That's a pretty good lap so far. Let's see if anyone can beat it. People do beat it. Jacob Melvin now going quick time with a 12.215. Currently second place is David Heilman. See if anyone else can get up there. One name that I found that is interesting is Corey Wenzel moving over to the non-wing side. His qualifying time was not very good with a 12.496, but interesting to see Corey take the wing off here tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen Corey Wenzel drive anything outside of those wing sprint cars. David Heilman goes to the top of the board. Try to find some drivers that are on track for you. Chad Robinson currently out there. 12.485 with his first lap. Let's see what he can improve to. He will not. Actually, no, I take that back. I think he's coming across time beam now. Yes, he is. He can go to 12.135. That puts him to pole.
Yeah, Chad Robinson with quick time so far with still two drivers yet to take a lap. in Kenneth Dake Jr. and Dylan Selman, but that's a very fast lap there by Chad Robinson. I'm not sure if that one's going to hold. It probably will, with Dylan Selman now going out with his first time being at 12.300 coming across the line now. He will improve to 12.156. That's second quick. Chad Robinson still your pole sitter.
Doesn't look like Kenneth Dake Jr. is going to come out here. A lot of your World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Car World Championship drivers are in this field. Dylan Selman, David Heileman, Adam Elby actually won the race. Have the likes as well of some other drivers up and down the field. Rusty Kruger, I believe Corey Wenzel's in the series as well. So a lot of talent in this field. And Chad Robinson, the man with all the teeth on the car, he's going to roll him off from pole as we have 20 seconds left in qualifying, but no one else has even gone out on track. So this is going to be how they roll off. Chad Robinson, David Heileman, your front row in heat race number 1, which will get you the full grid in just a moment.
Very impressive qualifying run there by Chad Robinson. He's been very fast in these USAC 360 sprint cars for the past few weeks. Actually, since we rolled out this second edition of Dirt Night, he's been very fast. Like I said, to see if he can keep the hype train moving, so to speak.
So as the field gets ready to set the grid, we'll go down at your starting grid. Music didn't want to start for some reason there, and I was really confused. Chad Robinson going to be on the pole here for heat race number 1 with David Heileman, as we said. Jacob Melvin and Rusty Kruger on row 2. Zane, Yost, and Corey Wenzel row 3 with Kenneth and Dake Jr. rounding out the 7-car field here in heat race number 1. And again, 7 cars, 13 in total. There will be no last chance qualifier here tonight because the race once again split. Who's your pick for heat race number 1? I think it's that man with that vicious engine cover there on the pole, Robinson Racing. Chad Robinson.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Chad Robinson has been very fast in these USAC sprint cars. He set quick time here tonight. He's got the shark on there on the hood there. Honestly, I think that's all the evidence you need. I feel like he's gonna take this heat race.
So field rolls themselves out and around onto the racetrack. Chad Robinson once again will be leading the field here. I'm really want to watch though David Heileman, because last time we were here, David won the feature in these cars at this track, and he did it off a phenomenal last lap pass on David Bodio. But Dave Bodio is not here tonight, so will David even be able to do that, or will he find himself on the wrong side of the winner's circle this time? Pace Truck's going to come down to the safety of pit road in just a moment, and Chad Robinson will be in command of the field. Important to note that when Heileman won the feature, he only led, I believe, 1 lap the entire feature. So you don't have to be out front early in order to win. Green flag flies, Robinson on it. Lap 1 of 8 on the board getting run right now. You see people fan out to the top and to the bottom, some in the middle also.
Chad Robinson getting off to a great start. It looks like he's running kind of middle groove so far, not quite down by the tractor tires. Then again, not selling t-shirts up top, but so far he's running pretty good. David Heileman in second place. Got a little battle brewing here for third place with Jacob Melvin, the 7 of Rusty Kruger. They're running pretty good there. Rusty Kruger selling t-shirts up top. I already used that expression, but yeah, Rusty Kruger not doing too bad so far, trying to move forward, but so far can't get it done. Jacob Melvin holding him off for now.
Chris is already running out of Hohnisms, and we're only 4 laps in to this first heat race as Heileman is trying to keep tabs of that 3 of Chad Robinson, but Chad has checked out. He's going to need a receipt for that one. I'm going to now cash in one of my Hohnisms as the fight for second is heating up. Jacob Melvin's checked in. Rusty Kruger is there as well. Zane Yost has fallen back just a little bit, but it's about a 3-car scrap right now for second as Heileman way up to the top and Jacob Melvin way down to the bottom with 3 laps to go.
Jacob Melvin running that bottom like a champ, trying to get past David Heileman. David Heileman trying to run that high side, trying to get a little bit more momentum. He's got it. Momentum, less problems so far for David Heileman. Running that top just fine. Looks like coming across the line no, that's a backstretch. I apologize. Now coming off turn number 4, coming to the white flag. David Heileman still holding him off.
Meanwhile, out in front, Chad Robinson is going to lead here as Jacob Melvin not quite close enough to the rear of that number 2 car. For that reason, the number 3 Chad Robinson will comfortably win heat race number 1 with a 1.2 second lead. Jacob Melvin will come home third. Heilman in second, of course, with Kruger, Yost, and Dake. Rounding out your top 6, and Corey Wenzel in 7th. Heat race number 2, starting grid now on the side of your screens. Dylan Semmelman will be rounding out here the top of the timing boards for this second heat race, with Adam Elby in second, Alex Krapser in third, with Todd Brandt, Matt Martin, and Matthew Wright. I think the car I really want to watch, I think there's 2 cars in this heat race to watch, and it's those top 2 of Semmelman and Elby. Adam Elby, of course, won the race at Eldora for that World of Outlaws World Championship season opener, and Dylan Semmelman did not have a good run in that race, so I think the 2 of them are going to be interesting to watch.
Absolutely. Adam Elby's really fast in all these sprint cars, especially these non-wing sprint cars. We've seen him battle up front week in and week out, but he's going to have his hands full tonight with Dylan Selman leading pole. Not sure what line you'd want to take here so far. It looks like everybody's kind of running their own line, getting about the same results. But if I were Adam Elby, I'd stay right up there, because that's traditionally the fast way around here with these sprint cars.
Yeah, it is sort of an interesting situation right now. There's not really a slick line that's formed on the racetrack just yet. So because of that, people are kind of running everywhere. We saw that in the first heat race. We saw people running down along the bottom, saw people in the middle, saw some people try the top as well. Heilman did get pretty quick late in that first heat race, though, up top. And he was able to reel in Chad Robinson just a little bit. So look for that to maybe come into play. Top might be better here in the second heat race, as Dylan's going to get on it. No time wasted. Green flag waves in heat race number 2.
Dylan Selman off to a great start already, immediately jumps up top. Followed suit is Adam Elby. He's running right there, right up top as well. He actually runs a little bit higher than Selman there, maybe trying to do a little bit of more momentum. Going through 1 and 2 now, still running just a tad higher. Trying to reel him in, can't quite get it done, but he's inching closer and closer. I expect Adam Elby to maybe make a move pretty soon. He's actually in the wall. That's not the move I was looking at. Upside down a huge way.
That's an inadvised move at best, I think, is he's going to be stopped and upside down. We're going to get a replay of that on your screen. You see him going down the front straight and into turn 1, tried to ride that cushion. And, well, Chris, a lot of people have been talking about the cushion model, but I don't think I've seen a single broadcast where the cushion pretty much dominates the race. The way a lot of people describe it. And I see a lot of people who talk about how easy it is to run up there really struggle, as you saw right there. Elby basically smacked that wall. Now he's going to have to start from the back, and that's not going to be good news for the 4.
No, Adam Elby, as talented as he is, it's going to be very difficult for him starting from the back, because this track is a really small, definitely a driver's track. However, starting that far back, he may have some problems, as we now have 2 laps to go. Dylan Selman still your leader, with Alex Krapser trying to close in.
So just over 1/4 mile left here around Limaland now, exactly a 1/4 mile as they head down through corners number 1 and 2 for the final time. A lot of big gaps out there on the racetrack, nothing really close. So we're going to stay with your leader of Dylan Selman. Throw it up to the top in 3 and 4 once again. He's going to comfortably bring it home to the end, with Alex Krapser rounding out that second spot. The rest of your field, Todd Brandt, Matt Wright, Matt Martin, and Adam Elby. And that's going to bring us now already to feature time, as we just got to wait for this counter to count down. And then we'll be gridding all 13 of these USAC 360 non-wing sprint cars for 20 laps here around Limaland. Chris, predictions?
Predictions, I'm going to have to say Chad Robinson. I feel like he's got a really fast car tonight. Think he's going to do very well. I expect Adam Elby to make some moves. I don't know how far up he's going to get starting from 12th. However, I feel like it's going to be very interesting to see him try to come through the field. Like I said, it's going to be very difficult for him. However, he's a very fast driver. I think he'll at least definitely crack the top 10. Can't really say top 5, but you know, you never know. These 360 sprint cars are definitely unpredictable.
To the people asking if this is live, no, it's not. We are actually streaming this from 2020. You're going to love the next 2 years of iRacing content and iRacing releases. But let's go down your starting grid for the feature race here on Friday Night Dirt Night and the USAC 360 non-wing sprint cars. Chad Robinson and Dylan Semmelman make up row number 1 with David Heilemann and Alex Krapser on row 2. That inside driver on that second row, David Heilemann, of course, the defending winner from this race earlier in the season. Jacob Melvin and Todd Brandt on row 3 with Rusty Kruger and Matt Wright on row number 4. Zane Yost and Matt Martin on row 5 with Kenneth Dake and Adam Elby on row 6, and Corey Winsel surrounding out the 13-car field all by himself on row number 7. 2 big names, 3 big names there in the tail end of the field. Ken Dake, Adam Elby, Corey Winsel. The fact those guys are going to have to come through the field likely means that we're going to see an interesting show as the field works their way across start finish for the first time. Now off towards corners number 1 and 2 for the final time here under caution. Hopefully we don't get any yellows here tonight at Limaland. I want to see 20 laps green to the end. So please, 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 everybody, let's get it going. To the field works through 3 and 4 for the final time and get growling. Chad Robinson gets on it. Dylan Selman already hooked up on the top, and he's going to go harassing that number 3 car around the top side for the race lead. Gets the run off the cushion of corner number 2 and goes down to the middle of the racetrack wheel to wheel. Robinson, what a start from Selman. He timed that one perfect.
Dylan Selman, picture perfect on that start so far. Oh, looked like we had a car upside down further in the field. Not going to have any yellow flag going on right now, but Chad Robinson still holding on to that lead. He actually pulled quite significantly there on Selman. Selman trying to hold on to third now. David Heilman's trying to run that top side just like Selman, and looks like we're kind of getting a little bit of a gap here, but now the gap for the lead is starting to shrink just a little bit. Dylan Selman is trying to reel in Chad Robinson. Chad Robinson maybe got a little bit too sideways there going into that last corner, but so far he's running pretty good. Selman running dangerously close up to that wall, though. You better be careful.
See someone just throwing it up to the top as aggressively as he can and give them a big run down the straightaways, but seems like that middle groove is still quicker. 3 machine of Chad Robinson, though. He's going to experiment up top, rolls the cushion, is going to stay up there in 3 and 4. Yes, he is, but he doesn't get quite as high as Selman is. So I think that 3 car is still sort of searching to where the fast lane is around at the moment, but we are seeing that top line really start to come in. Everyone's sort of going up to that upper groove right now, trying to make it work. As a one of Selman, I think the fact he's been up there longer, he's sort of figured it out a little bit earlier than that 3 car, because Selman does look quicker right now, but the 3 just seems absolutely perfectly placed right now with his car placement. He goes actually back down to the bottom as Selman hiccups up top.
Yeah, Dylan Selman just overcooked it just a little bit there in 3 and 4. Now goes back up top to 1 and 2 as we see the 3 of Chad Robinson now going down back to the bottom. Very interesting strategy there for Chad Robinson. Kind of took Selman's line away, but now that he's got a little bit of a gap, I guess he goes back to the line that he's more comfortable with, is coming off of turn number 4. We're in lap traffic, and we're also halfway through this 20-lap feature so far, caution-free. Chad Robinson still leading with David Heilman now moving, or no, that's still third as all. Our leader's in trouble. He gets a little bit too sideways off turn number 4. Oh! He's on the wall. That's going to be his race probably as he takes out number 2 as well. David Heilman, no caution as of yet, and Adam Elby now getting collected, and there's a caution.
So we get a caution. Here's what happened to the 3 car. You see he was loose off of corner number 4. He just tried to get up to the top, and he just never was able to maintain rear traction. So that's all in that number 3 car of Chad Robinson. We're going to get another look at that riding on board if we can. You see as he comes off the corner, he's going to get a big bite of oversteer here and tries to correct it. Comes onto the front straightaway. The back end just kicks out and just kicks right into the outside wall. Then from there, not much he can really do. You see David Heileman get a little piece of that as well. We're going to watch that on board as well, with that number 2 of David Heileman, who I think has unfortunately pulled the car off of the racing surface. As you see here, just out in front of that car, just get up into the wall, and there's nothing Heileman could really do about that whatsoever. And you see him here revving that, I think broke something in the rear end. So unfortunate for Heileman. The field's going to cycle around. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing in just a moment. I think lights are already out on that safety truck. Indeed they are. So 5 laps will be left in this feature race, and as they run, Dylan Semmelman they're able to take the race lead from the 3 of Chad Robinson. Alex Krapser is in 3rd with Jacob Melvin and Rusty Kruger, your top 5, and Semmelman's going to get on at 5 to go.
Dylan Selman with an excellent restart. Not far behind is that number 2, though, Chad Robinson, trying to run that bottom line. Maybe that's a little bit more comfortable for him than running the top, but he goes kind of up to the top, not quite as high as Selman has been. But Selman's running that top pretty well. Now Chad Robinson goes up. He cowboys up on the cushion just a little bit there in 1 and 2, 3 and 4. He kind of enters a little bit lower, but he slides back up, bounces the right rear off the cushion. We have 3 laps to go here in this feature. So far, Chad Robinson trying to reel him in, not quite able to get it done here. Dylan Selman's going to come off turn number 4 with 2 to go. Right?
So 2 laps left here as Chad Robinson is doing everything he can. A little bit of contact in the back, actually. A little bit of a 3-car incident, but everyone's going to keep it rolling. As they come off quarter number 3 and 4, your race leaders for the final time. Selman takes the white, and let's see, the 3 of Chad Robinson is going to go down to the bottom of the flip car in the middle of the racetrack. That's going to hold up Robinson. Unfortunate for him that would happen as he slings it back down low once again, but no, it's going to be Dylan Selman who holds on to take the win here at Limaland. Who was that who was upside down? I'm going to try to get a replay of that to see who that actually was, because that was really unfortunate there for that number 3 car. Need to rewind the cameras back just a little bit further. It was Matt Martin, as we're going to get a replay of what actually happened to him here on your screens. This is him through 3 and 4. You see him struggling with the car through 3 and 4, not quite getting the line right. Heads down the front straightaway. He basically did what Chad Robinson did. It's a very common mistake in these cars without all the downforce, Chris. He just sort of turned in and really turned in either too late, or he didn't get the car hooked up enough, and because of that, the rear basically just slid right up into the outside wall.
Yeah, that's a very common thing in these sprint cars. It's something that sometimes even real drivers are faced with, as my dog opens the door. And this is a like I said, very common mistake. It's unfortunate that would happen, especially with Chad Robinson going down at just that moment. Sees an upside down car. That basically was the final nail in the coffin of his hopes of getting that win. But still an excellent run by Chad Robinson. But Dylan Selman taking the win here at Limaland.
So let's go down your official post-race results here from the race at Limaland. Dylan Selman from Team VLR takes the win. Chad Robinson from Chad Robinson Racing in P number 2. Alex Kratzer in 3rd, with Adam Elby and Rusty Kruger rounding out your top 5. Jacob Melvin in 6th, Todd Brandt in 7th, Kenneth Dake Jr. in 8th, with Matt Wright rounding out the 9 finishers on the evening. Matt Martin finishes in 10th, down 3 laps, with Corey Wenzel in 11th. He's down 8. David Heileman in 11th. David Heileman in 12th. And Zane Yost in 13th. Chris, quick night of action, 20 laps, 4 minutes and 45 seconds from green to finish. Any final thoughts for you before we close this thing out?
Yeah, that was a very fast race there. Dylan Selman ran really well in his heat race. He ran really well in the feature. Chad Robinson, starting on pole, I thought he was going to be the one to beat, but Dylan Selman proved that if you just run perfect, run flawless, you're able to put together some pretty good laps, and that's what he did. Chad Robinson, unfortunately, making a couple mistakes, but he's still a very fast driver. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next week with Chad.
Well, he's going to end up joining us. Was curious if he might not turn up or not, but we do have him. Dylan, you had an unfortunate race on Monday, but you were able to rebound a little bit, come away with a win here on Dirt Night in the USAC 360 Sprint Car. It's been a bit of a down and up week for you.
Yeah, for sure. I never raced these. I just jumped in here and ran some laps, and super fun, the sprint car race. I got trapped in the back there after the heat race, so that was unfortunate, but glad to rebound it back and get a win here somehow.
Now, you guys at VLR, you had, like I said, I think pretty much all of you except for Alex and Howard. Unfortunately, Howard had a good race. But for the most part, most of you had a really downer night on Monday. What's sort of been the interaction from the team? Is it going to be, what's the focus like going into the late model race? And has there been an amping up of the practice and work going in for the sprint cars, hoping to have a night like that not happen again?
No, I don't deal with the late model stuff. That's all the other guys. But for sprint car wise, we just have to, because we know we're all fast. We ran quick qualifying times besides Austin, but we just have to rebound and stay out of trouble. It's the major thing, because I don't know, if I stayed out of trouble, I could have got a top 5 finish. Would have been really good for points, but yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us, Dylan. Congratulations on the win. Before we let you go, who would you like to thank? Who's on the car?
Yep. Thanks to Team Villar, obviously, Dirt Collective, Matt Hill, Dirt Division with the paint, new paint for the Pro Series, black and pink car, pretty nice. So yeah, and then Accelerated, and you guys for broadcasting. Thanks, guys.
Well, Dylan Selman from Team VLR. We got more people turning up. Kris, you're stood by for the second place finisher tonight, the number 3 of Chad Robinson from Chad Robinson Racing.
Chad Robinson, you had an excellent race today. You started from pole, made a couple minor mistakes, ended up taking second. What do you think you had to do to take that win from Selman?
Well, the car was hooked up really good tonight. I just made a couple mistakes. I got real loose coming out of 4 there, and I tried to get it back straight going into turn 1. My right rear hit the wall, and that was too bad that I ended up getting into Heilman and ruined his race. I feel really bad about that. But Selman was really fast. I don't think I had anything for him there at the end.
All right, Chad. Limaland's very interesting track we saw in the heat race. Is pretty tacky. A lot of guys run a bunch of different lines, but as we saw in the feature, it all kind of migrated up to the top. What line do you think in your heat race do you think was the quickest? And I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah, for the heat, it's all right. For the heat, the way my car was set up, the bottom was the fastest. I know Dylan really likes to run the top, and he was really fast in the top. So it all depends on how you set up your car and you know, how you want the car to drive. But definitely the bottom is the way to run when it's tacky, and when it slickens up, you definitely want to be up on the top.
Alrighty, before I embarrass myself any further, who's on your car? Who do you have to thank for tonight?
I just kind of made it up, just Robinson Racing. I don't really have any sponsors. Shout out to my grandpa who always watches me on Friday nights, and I really appreciate what you guys do. Thanks for putting this on, and it's always a lot of fun.
All right, that's your second place finisher, Chad Robinson.
So there he is, Chad Robinson, having a very good night. You would have liked it to be a little bit better, one position better, I'm sure, but overall I think he's going to be pretty happy with that, Kris. But overall, these USAC 360 sprint cars, they put on a pretty good show as we've grown accustomed to seeing. Dylan really did a good job. He found the top when it was quick, and we saw Chad sort of early on, about midway through, rather, of that run, go back up there and make something, try to make something happen. Unfortunately, wasn't able to quite get it work. Next week, we'll be taking to Knoxville. What do you think we'll see there?
Oh, sprint car capital of the world. I believe we're going to see some fantastic racing. Going to be interesting to see all these cars run down on the bottom, maybe, because that berm can be very dangerous. Maybe get your left wheel up there, but if you go a little bit too far, it'll either send the car around or it'll send it into the wall, depending on how far you move that wheel. So Knoxville is going to be a very interesting track for these USAC sprint cars. They actually made their venture back there to the real world last year. Pretty interesting, but here in iRacing, it's going to be very, as I said multiple times, very interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, that is going to do it for us here on Racespot TV for Dirt Night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to tune in the next coming week or so, because we got a lot of big events coming at you. Of course, tomorrow, the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series kicks back off from Monza. Coanda Sinsport has been on a 1.5-year tear in that series. Team Redline and Gregor Hutu has gone a full 1.5 years without a win in that championship. Will Team Redline be able to bounce back, or will someone else be able to take it to Coanda, potentially steal a win, or will be the likes of Martin Kroenke, Mitchell de Jong, and Mac Backham continuing their reign of dominance? Next week is, of course, the month of May week, and going to be the week where you hear Will Vincent really amped up. The iRacing Indianapolis 500 will be coming at you on Saturday, right here on Racespot, streamed by Racespot TV on iRacingLive. 500 miles of the best IndyCar racers on the iRacing service, plus a handful of other guys that might be turning up, likes of John Gorlinski, Ray Alfala, Kevin Ellis Jr., Simon Povey. A lot of those guys that come from different aspects of racing often turn up to the Indianapolis 500, and because of that, can always be a unique one to watch. But before we let you go, huge shout outs to everyone who makes these races possible. Kris Hohn and Justin Prince for joining me during the coverage tonight. Istvan Ballo for the camera packs, with Andy Werner, what he has done for the overlays. Simon Grossman at AppEngineer.com. Thank you for ATVO, and Nick Tisson for the Racespot TV live timing. Hope to see you next time, and until then, stay safe.